Let's see what this Galaxy-class starship can do.
Raise all shields. Phasers at ready.
Shutdown procedure initiated.
Hello everybody, I would like to show you one of my slight modifications I made to my copy of the USS Enterprise D. There also were some requests how I made this phaser array. Some times ago I saw a mod and thought I have to do this myself. It all started with the original parts from then Eaglemoss, now Fanhome. My first attempt was to get the cast from the original parts to get the outer layer of the array. After a few errors, I got a quite good mold. I intended it to cast in clear epoxy, and the epoxy I had on hand was quite viscous, so it was quite easy to get a thin outline to have enough space to put the LEDs in. But it wasn't thin enough, and not that even to accommodate the LEDs without dents. So I got myself a 3D printer. I was toying with the thought anyway for a long time. I had the FDM printer, but that was definitely no option. I needed details. I found this little toy for a quite reasonable price and started to learn Fusion 360 again. After a lot of hours, I started countless times from scratch. I came up with this design. Since my printer wasn't big, I needed to split the design up in parts, which also needed some sort of connector to give the parts some guidance. Well, here is my first test print in an eco resin I had on hand. And to my surprise, it was quite satisfying. It fit quite well on the big D. After some web searching, I knew that I only could do this with individually addressable LEDs. I bought a quite inexpensive set of SK6812B RGBW LEDs to test my theory. The mentioned test LEDs were way too big for the array, but there was a much smaller chip available of the similar sort. After another bunch of hours, I had my Arduino programmed the way it would do what I intended it to do. Next step was clear. I needed something to put the LEDs on, and to my joy and surprise, my favorite PCB manufacturer, JLC PCB, was able to do flexible PCBs now. Exactly what I needed. So I designed a also splitted PCB for my LEDs in the correct curvature that would fit the saucer. Some weeks later, I went to assemble the PCB strip. The factory would have done it, but the costs of it would have been immense. Therefore, I needed some SMD soldering station, in my case a hot air rework station. It was tedious work to solder 96 LEDs and capacitors, but it worked way better than I was hoping for. So the next step, clear resin. Same procedure, and about 36 hours later I had a phaser array. Preparing the array. First of all, on the inside I sprayed a slight touch of white with the airbrush for better light dispersion. Next, I painted the outside with countless thin layers of black for light blocking. It must have been about 10 layers. It looked quite okay. Not fully blocked, but it wasn't the end of paint. Next was another test. I wasn't sure what would look better, so I scratched only the uppermost paint level to see the effect. After a while of scratching and cleaning, it looked quite nice. But I thought it might be better to see how it works with the riddles on the sides free. To finalize, I painted the whole array with a dark grey paint matching the original array. Another scraping of the grey paint, and again slight touch of grey, and voila! But how to attach all this on the Enterprise? I came up with the idea of magnets. From another model, I had some magnets left over, and they fitted right into the fixing indentations of the model. And how to fix the magnets on the model? Well, there comes the UV resin in handy. It's a tedious job, but that's the fun, right? For testing, I fixed the magnets with Butterfix. That's marvelous stuff. It fixes things, but you can remove it also quite easily and cleanly. So I marked the magnets on the right side, because I also use magnets on the LED strip, and you need the right side, else they repel each other. Here comes the UV resin in the game. Again, a small amount of resin to fix it on the model. And a little more to fix it finally. I also used the magnets to make the electrical connection to the Arduino board, respectively to the power system. I just don't fix the magnets to the model, but made a small UV resin blob on the inside to keep the wire inside. Then I glued the array parts together and also glued the strip to the array. And now we can put the array on the model. And done.